Yeah, I don't know. That framing, like that language, makes me feel deeply uncomfortable because what do you mean going back home? Because if I understand genocides correctly, if your family, if your people have been genocided from a country, they have been completely removed with no way of going back, right? If I understand what a genocide is in its practical applications, that means that perhaps your homes, or what used to be your home rather, has been completely destroyed or bombed, maybe burned down. Complete cities or villages or towns that you used to call home have been completely destroyed. So there's nothing to go back home to. You are stateless when you have fled a country because of persecution. I mean, we've seen this with Israel throughout history. We are seeing it now with what they are doing to the Palestinians, where I don't think that Palestinians are like, oh, okay, no, it's fine. We'll go back home whenever we feel like it. Because it seems like all of the other countries that we have been thrown into, we're not vibing with them anymore. So it's just, we'll just, it's fine. We'll just go back to Gaza. It doesn't feel like the same thing that is happening here. Which, am I the only one who's confused about this? Because what do you mean going back home? Going back to home to where? I mean, back home to a place where you called the people dangerous. So how are you not scared of these dangerous people all of a sudden? It just does not make sense to my brain. Like, help me understand how you are going back home to a place that makes you feel unwelcome. And how are we as South Africans allowing these things to happen? Damdiri Renje can just be in and out of this country because they feel like it that day. That makes me deeply, deeply uncomfortable with this whole arrangement that is going on. People can say such disgusting and immoralizing things about the people of that country and that country, and we still allow these people to be amongst us. What does that say about us? Like, do we have no self respect to allow the people who have been disparaging us for years? We just say, hey, no, it's fine. Welcome back home. How does that make sense? How is that supposed to make us feel as a nation? The people who are actively working and saying things against us, people who obviously don't want to be in this country with us, and we just allow them back with open arms because they feel like they're being treated unfairly in a different place, but they're not saying the disparaging things about that place. No, because now they want to go back home, or it, this is something that someone has got to explain to me like I am a 5-year-old this time around, because it does not make any sense to me. What happens if it happens? Like, what happens then if tomorrow they change their mind again and decide, nah, I'm going to say nasty things about South Africa again because this time I want to go to China. And then 3 weeks down the line, they're like, no, China didn't work out. Okay, now I'm going back home to this country that disgusts me and to these people I don't see as part of my people. I don't, my brain is not braining at this moment, and I'm gonna need someone to help me out here. If you can explain this to me, please explain it to me, because it does not make sense to me that people can go back to a country where they were yelling and yelling and yelling about being in an act of genocide. And then 2 months down the line, they're like, nah, maybe it's not so genocidal after all. And then they can go back. Can Palestinians do that in Gaza?